There's a silent, invisible tax on your life that you pay every single morning the moment your alarm goes off, yet you have been conditioned to call it a career. Close your eyes for a second and visualize your bank account right now. If the direct deposit you desperately wait for every 2 weeks suddenly vanished tomorrow, how long would it take for your entire reality to collapse? You have been sold the most dangerous lie of the modern era. The illusion that trading 40 hours of your finite life each week for a single heavily taxed paycheck is the path to security. The truth is, relying on one income stream is financial suicide in a fragile economy, leaving you one bad corporate decision away from total ruin. Society has engineered you to take pride in being exhausted, romanticizing the brutal grind while keeping you utterly blind to the fact that hard work rarely translates to actual wealth. The elite do not operate in this reality because they understand a terrifying psychological principle. The middle class bleeds their time to buy money, while the 1% weaponize their money to buy back their absolute freedom. You are not losing because you aren't working hard enough. You are losing because you are trapped in a psychological rat race, playing by rules that were specifically designed to keep you exactly where you are. To break out of this engineered trap, you must completely destroy the way you perceive a single dollar. The wealthy do not see money as a reward for physical exhaustion. They view it as raw ammunition to build an automated army. While the masses are desperately hunting for a second job, eagerly volunteering to surrender even more of their finite time for a slight bump in pay, the elite are quietly constructing scalable assets in the shadows. An asset is nothing more than a ruthless, unfeeling system. Whether it is a piece of digital software, a media portfolio, or cash-flowing real estate that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever asking for a sick day or a weekend off. They completely divorce their earning potential from the ticking clock. They understand the deepest secret of capitalism. Money is merely a byproduct of solving complex problems at scale. The exact moment you stop selling your physical presence and start engineering systems that inject real, undeniable value into the marketplace, money stops being a desperate pursuit and naturally begins hunting you down. You cease to be a pawn on the chessboard and finally become the architect of a machine that prints capital while you sleep, fundamentally shifting the power dynamic of your entire existence. But engineering that automated machine requires a brutal shift in your psychological relationship with consumption. The exact millisecond a direct deposit hits a standard bank account, it is instantly eviscerated by a relentless barrage of liabilities. Auto loans, exorbitant rent, and depreciating luxuries purchased solely to manufacture the illusion of success to strangers. The masses operate under the fatal delusion of investing whatever happens to be left over after spending, a mathematical death sentence that practically guarantees chronic poverty. The elite execute a cold, calculated inversion. They aggressively siphon off their capital into investments first, forcing their lifestyle to survive on the remnants. Furthermore, they are entirely immune to the seductive, dopamine-fueled casino of Wall Street day trading and high-leverage options that systematically bankrupt the middle class. Instead, they park their ammunition in painfully boring, globally diversified vehicles like S&P 500 index funds, allowing the silent exponential violence of compound interest to expand their empire in the shadows. They are not chasing the pathetic temporary high of doubling their money by next Friday. They are meticulously orchestrating a 10-year financial checkmate, fully aware that generational wealth is forged exclusively in the absolute absence of emotion and the execution of unbreakable discipline. To guarantee this flawless execution, the wealthy must completely eliminate the single greatest point of failure in any financial plan, their own human psychology. They understand that relying on daily willpower is a guaranteed path to failure simply because human motivation is fragile, deeply emotional, and easily corrupted by everyday fatigue. Therefore, they ruthlessly automate their entire financial architecture. They construct rigid mechanical algorithms that instantly sweep capital from their accounts and deploy it into the market the exact millisecond they get paid, entirely bypassing their own cognitive biases and forcing discipline to run on absolute autopilot. But the ultimate separator, the apex of financial manipulation, lies in how they weaponize the exact mechanism that systematically destroys the middle class: debt. While the masses are suffocating under toxic consumer loans to finance a lifestyle they cannot afford, the elite utilize strategic, calculated leverage as a tax-free instrument to acquire income-producing assets. They do not fear debt. They respect it as a highly volatile tool to aggressively accelerate their accumulation of power. They execute an unbreakable wealth loop, acquiring assets that generate cash, using that new cash to buy even more assets, and repeating this algorithmic cycle of capital expansion until they become completely financially untouchable. This is the definitive line in the sand between those who will spend their final days counting pennies and those who will orchestrate their own absolute freedom. The ultimate realization you must accept tonight is that money is not a scarce resource to be desperately hoarded. It is an infinite energy waiting to be directed. If you continue to wake up, clock in, and trade your irreplaceable life force for a depreciating currency without ever building an automated system, you are actively choosing to be a casualty of the modern financial matrix. Poverty is the tragic result of working yourself into the ground for paper, but ultimate sovereignty is building the ironclad machine that prints it. You now possess the exact psychological framework that the top 1% uses to silently acquire the world. The only variable left is whether you have the ruthless discipline to actually execute it. If you are finally ready to stop being manipulated by a rigged economy, to master the complex machinery of real wealth, and to build an empire that outlasts you, hit that subscribe button to AS Wealthcraft. We do not deal in temporary feel-good motivation here. We deal in the cold, calculated systems of absolute financial dominance. The next move is entirely yours.